My barista asked why my girlfriend orders 2 drinks, then dumps one outside. Kevin had been watching this pattern for weeks from behind the espresso machine, finally too curious to stay silent. Every morning she gets your usual and a decaf vanilla latte, he explained, wiping down the counter nervously. Then she walks outside and pours the decaf straight into the storm drain, every single day. We thought maybe it was for someone who never shows up, but it's getting weird. My stomach twisted as I processed this information. Sarah brought me coffee every morning. My usual double shot cappuccino, always perfect, always with a kiss and a smile. She'd never mentioned buying a second drink, certainly never mentioned throwing one away. You're absolutely sure? I asked, though Kevin's expression made it clear. He pulled up their security footage on his phone, showing Sarah outside their shop, deliberately pouring a full cup of coffee into the drain, then tossing the empty cup in the trash. She did it methodically, almost ritualistically, before walking to her car with my drink. That evening, I watched Sarah prepare for her morning routine, setting her alarm, choosing her outfit, kissing me goodnight. She seemed perfectly normal, the woman I'd been dating for 8 months, talking about moving in together. Nothing suggested she was performing bizarre coffee rituals every morning. The next morning, I pretended to sleep in, but followed her to the coffee shop. I watched from across the street as she ordered both drinks, chatted pleasantly with Kevin, then walked outside. Sure enough, she poured the entire decaf latte into the storm drain, murmured something I couldn't hear, then got in her car with my coffee. I confronted her that evening, describing what I'd witnessed. Sarah's face went through a journey of emotions, surprise, embarrassment, then profound sadness. You weren't supposed to know, she said quietly, sitting down heavily on our couch. It was supposed to be my private thing. She explained that the second coffee was for her sister Emma, who died in a car accident exactly 1 year before we'd met. They'd had a tradition of morning coffee together every day since college. Emma always ordered the same decaf vanilla latte, always complained it wasn't sweet enough, always laughed at Sarah's more serious cappuccino choice. When she died, I couldn't stop our tradition, Sarah continued, tears flowing freely. I kept buying her coffee, keeping her place in my routine. Pouring it out became my way of letting her go, one day at a time. I say goodbye to her every morning at that drain, tell her about my life, about you. The ritual had started as grief processing, but evolved into something more complex when we started dating. Sarah felt guilty about finding happiness after Emma's death, about having morning coffee with someone new. Buying Emma's drink was her way of including her sister in her new life, maintaining connection while moving forward. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, holding her as she sobbed. Because it sounds insane, she replied. Who buys coffee for a dead person? Who has conversations with a storm drain? I was afraid you'd think I was unstable, that I couldn't let go of the past. The truth was, I found it heartbreaking but beautiful. Sarah had been carrying this grief alone, performing this daily memorial in secret, afraid of judgment. The coffee ritual was her way of honoring someone she'd loved while trying to love someone new. We decided to modify the tradition together. The next morning, we both went to the coffee shop. I learned about Emma while we waited for our drinks, heard stories about their sisterhood, their dreams, their inside jokes. When we got the drinks, we walked to the storm drain together. Sarah poured out Emma's latte while telling her sister about our relationship, our plans, our future. This is Nathan, she said to the drain, and I didn't feel silly at all. He makes me happy, Em. I think you'd like him. We established a new tradition. Once a week, we'd buy Emma's coffee together, and Sarah would tell me a story about her sister while we performed the ritual. The other days, Sarah continued alone, but now without shame or secrecy. Kevin and the other baristas learned the truth and started writing Emma's name on the cup, acknowledging the memorial they'd been unknowingly facilitating. Some might see it as inability to process grief, but I saw it as love persisting beyond death. Sarah wasn't stuck in the past. She was bringing her past forward, making space for loss within new love. The coffee ritual became part of our relationship's foundation, a reminder that love doesn't end with death, it just changes form. 6 months later, on what would have been Emma's 30th birthday, we went to her grave with a decaf vanilla latte. Sarah poured it over the headstone while telling Emma she was ready to reduce the daily ritual to weekly, not because she was forgetting, but because she was healing. The storm drain memorial didn't end, but it evolved. Now we go together every Sunday, bringing 3 coffees, mine, Sarah's, and Emma's. We sit on a nearby bench, drink ours, and pour Emma's while sharing our week with her. It's become a sacred time for us, a reminder that honoring the past and embracing the future aren't mutually exclusive. Love makes us do strange things, and grief makes us do stranger ones. But sometimes the strangest rituals are the most healing.